Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to GEF Live. We are so pleased to have you tuning in here, and we'd love to hear from you about the conversations you'd like to see happening on this platform. Comment below and let us know, what do you want to ask us? In the meantime, I'm honored to have here with us today Julio Ferreira, who's traveled a long way to be here, all the way from Angola. Julia is a GEF Council member and advisor to the Minister of Environment in Angola. Welcome, Julio. We're honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And maybe you can start by telling us, we're wrapping up an old year, starting a big new one, a new decade. What are some of your headlines from this year, and what are your priorities for next year?
Thank you. We are participating at the council meeting and representing the Southern African region, which comprised with Angola, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Eswatini, and we are 10 countries in the constituency. And the issues that we addressed, it's related to the biodiversity issues, climate change, and land degradations that are the problems that in the Southern African region, or talking about the Africa at all, we're facing the negative impact of the climate change, and we think that we are getting there. Africa is getting there. The Southern Africa, we are doing our best to achieve the objectives of the sustainable development issues, and we think with the GEF support as well, we're doing our best to implement the projects, working with the communities, working with the governments, institutions. We're working with the civil society and with the private sector as well, in order to join to have a strong platform where we can sit together and discuss different views and exchange experiences and make decisions on how things should be done on the country level and in the ground floor as well.
That sounds like really important work, and a big part of the work that you do is connecting people, communities, governments in Southern Africa, but also ministries. Can you tell us the importance of working on a whole of government approach in order to tackle some of the challenges that are ahead of us?
Yeah, we have an experience. Let me tell you about Angolan experience. The Minister of Environment, Dr. Paula Francisco, she talks with the President to create a multi-sectorial GEF multi-sectorial working group to give more power, to give more importance to the GEF issues at the country level. We are about 30 ministries. We look at the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Fisheries, Ministry of Economy, Planning, Ministry of Family and Social, Ministry of Health, Education, Minister. We are about 13 ministries, but we also invite the provincial environmental directors. Angola has got 18 provinces, and each provincial government has one cabinet for environmental. And we invite also these provincial directors to be on the board. And we also invite the United Nations agencies in Angola. That's what we call the GEF agencies, UNDP, FAO, World Bank, African Development Bank. They're also part of the steering committee of the working group for the GEF. And then we can exchange ideas. This is a big exercise that we, as the Ministry of Environment, that we member of the council, GEF Council, and we have the window open for the financing projects in the country. We share the information with the other ministries so that they can understand and bring up projects also that they have because of the transversality of environmental issues.
Wonderful. It really does take a village to make change happen.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, we're moving into a new year that's being dubbed 2020, the super year. What are your hopes and expectations for 2020 to really make a difference?
2020 super year, we have been discussing through the group of 33 countries, Africa, 33 countries in the COP in Madrid. And I think there have been some good news for Africa countries because we need a capacity building, we need a technology transfer, we need financial means in order to mitigate environmental issues, climate change, the negative impact. Recently, we had a problem in the Southern Africa with Mozambique, with that calamity that happens, and it's only possible to mitigate and to prevent from this negative impact from climate change when we start having more support, financial means, and the capacity building, so that we can actually, at that level, try with the support of GEF agencies as well, try to solve out the problems that countries are facing. And we're also looking at regional projects that benefits country to country, and it's also big projects that is being implemented through the region, so that we can give support to each others when those kinds of calamities happens,
Well,
especially for the agriculture. Because of when you talk about the negative impact, there is agriculture that has been affected as well. Things like roads and the access is very difficult. And we think with the GEF projects that we are being implemented, the money that GEF is putting in the country, it has been giving us a lot of help to work, especially in the south of Angola. To work on projects like increasing the resilience on agricultural and agropastoral systems, to also work on the quality of the water, and to bring camping schools for the communities. It's actually giving us a good support, but we hope 2020 will be better for Africa, and especially the Southern Africa, where we are the chair of the constituency.
And that's such an optimistic message. Thank you, Julio. I'd like to talk a little bit about young people. You know, Africa is such a young continent, and there's so much hope in the young people that you have there. And to the young people watching right now, what advice would you give? What's your call to action for them?
So for the young people, we have to say that we have to continue to believe, we have to keep the hope, and we have to engage ourselves through the governments. We have to first organize ourselves, creating associations, creating projects, and having capacity building, try to approach the governments, because the civil society are important partners for the governments. I used to say that the civil society, looking at the young people, they are the eyes and the ears of the governments. The governments cannot go ahead in the right way, in the right path, without the young people, because young people is the future generation of the world, and we have to engage, we have to pay attention, and try to bring up solutions that will actually help the governments to be more engaged and to come up with better ideas and better projects for GEF financing, for other funds as well, in order to sort out the environmental problems that affects the wildlife in all aspects. That's the message that I will have. Don't be tired. Don't be tired. We have to keep going. Things are going to be better in the future if we prepare it now.
Oh, there's so much hope in that message and so much concrete action. Your governments want to hear from you. That's a powerful message to walk away with. Thank you so much for being here, Julio. We are honored to have you here, and thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Noriana Fernando from the World Bank.